As today marks 100 days since all the hostages were taken captive into Gaza, it is even more important to be raising awareness and building momentum over their release. Today we'll be running to raise awareness around the release of the hostages, and we'll be doing this every weekend.
Every weekend?
Yeah.
And have you had much? Is this the first one organised?
Yeah. This is our first run in Australia. This is a worldwide organisation arranged by the families of the hostages, and we will keep running and doing everything in our power to bring them home. Please join us.
And you're going to do this every Sunday, is that the idea?
Yes, we'll be doing this every single Sunday to keep raising awareness. As the war keeps going on and the lives keep being lost and our hostages are still there, we will keep fighting for them.
Have you had much interest from the mainstream media so far?
Not so far, but we're planning on getting people on board.
And how many people have we got here today, do you reckon?
We had about 71 people sign up since we created the event on Thursday afternoon, with people adding by the hour.
Southport. Did I give you my phone or no? Sorry, my phone.
So Christian, I believe you just stumbled upon this event.
My name is Christian, but I actually am a Christian. Technically I only started praying 6-7 weeks ago after all the fallout of what's happening in Israel/Palestine right now. And I've gone on my walk this morning. I've seen obviously a group of Jewish community members coming together for a walk, ironically. But 2 weeks ago I had this vision, 2 days ago I had this vision of just Jews, Christians and Muslims, like people my age or all ages, to come together and actually just speak in a circle where everyone can just be heard and communicate. I think that for me, although I don't have solutions to the problem that's happening in Israel, I definitely have a way in which I want to connect with people and peers that are on their own walk with God, they're on their own walk with their own cultures, and have a heart that wants to be heard and expressed and come together.
Yeah. We're here to support the hostages that have been kidnapped and have been out of Israel in Gaza for 100 days now, which is a very frustrating situation. I just wanted to tell the world that the reason this war has started is because of the hostages and the reluctance of Hamas to release these hostages, and God knows what they're being through. I feel like the focus of the public currently has been about the politics of this war and Israel versus Palestine, but this march is all about humanity. It is all about just getting those people back with their families, back with the people they love, away from any sort of assaults, or I don't know if I can say it on television or camera, but terrible humanitarian assaults. I just find this completely awful, and we just want them back. It's been 100 days and we don't know where these people are, so I just want people to know that this is a peaceful protest. It's just a call for help, call for action for the Israelis and Palestine and the Hamas to release these hostages, please.
Yeah, thank you.
But if we can all try to stay together rather than wandering off super much ourselves, that would be great. At the end of the day, if this isn't a rally, it is a protest, but we don't want to be violent, we don't want to be super loud. We're here for the hostages, to bring them home and to make a call to action.
If everyone has like a dog out the back, if there are any young kids out the back, you would bring them to the front.
So Amy, we've just finished a 4-kilometre walk. You must be exhausted, as I am. And I believe you've just come back from Israel. You've been there a number of times. Is that right?
Yeah, so I've just been in Israel for the last 2.5 months. I was there before the war broke out and when the war broke out, and then for like 6 weeks after that. So I experienced what it was like during the whole experience.
How far were you from the border with Gaza?
I was in the centre, so I was about half an hour from Jerusalem, maybe an hour or so from Gaza, in a city called Beit Shemesh, and then I moved to Tel Aviv a few weeks after that. And we were woken up about 8 a.m. in the morning with rockets coming in, and I was still asleep, and we had the sirens go off, and we had to run in and out of the bomb shelter.
Is this on October 7th?
October 7th. And then, all of my family were called up into the reserves in the army that morning. And then when I moved to Tel Aviv, then we, kept getting rockets every day, slowed down a bit every 2 days, but they're still coming. And, then a few weeks after that, Israel's ground invasion started, and, met with lots of families on both sides. I spent a lot of time with the evacuated families from the kibbutzim and from the south, because they all moved to Tel Aviv for safety and because some of their homes were destroyed. And then I also have Palestinian friends who work in Israel. They either come from the West Bank or from Gaza, although they can't come anymore during the war. But I spent a lot of time with them as well. And I've also travelled through the West Bank meeting lots of Palestinian families too. So I do have close relationships with both Israelis and Palestinians.
So you're Australian born, but you've been to Israel a number of times.
Yeah, I'm Australian born. I have family and friends there. I studied over there for a year and grew up visiting my family there. And I speak Hebrew and a bit of Arabic and English. Yeah.
So let's just talk a little bit about the protests in Melbourne, the Palestinian ones. What do you think about these protests? There's been 13 so far, every Sunday.
I haven't been to one, mostly because I've been in Israel most of the time since the war. I went to some rallies in Israel, which were mostly for bringing the hostages back, because that's, I think, the cause that I'm the most passionate about, because number one, it's the most, I think, peaceful cause. It's the one that doesn't call for war or destruction on any side. It's purely calling for the hostages to come back and to bring a peaceful return. And also there's a lot of people from the hostage families calling for an end to the war as well. The war is bringing death and destruction to everyone involved. It doesn't matter whether they're Palestinian, Israeli, international, Muslim, Jewish, whatever. It's no one wants this war. And I think the main thing that I personally advocate for is peaceful dialogue and relationships and connections and listening between everybody, rather than, everyone getting defensive and different sides calling for different things. And what I experienced a lot when I was in Israel among, mostly the Israeli left, I went to, Jewish and Arab conversations and things like that. And the main thing is understanding. Like, everyone over there, whether Jewish, Muslim, Arab, Palestinian, Israeli, has all experienced loss. So they all understand the pain of the other. And that's the thing that brings us together and allows for more empathy and understanding. Whereas here in Australia, we're so far removed from everything. So I find that it's a lot harder for people over here to connect to the other side because they haven't experienced it themselves personally. So it's harder for them to understand what the other side is going through. So I think the more that we can listen to each other and sit back and just listen, take it very slow, not get defensive, be kind and soft with each other, and understand that it's happening very, very far away from us. And if you've never experienced war, you've never experienced war. So listen to the people that have and listen to what they're asking for.